up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? I'm Shannon Townsend.
And I'm Richard Townsend.
And you are tuned into the Married Marks podcast, where we talk about the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the shit no one really wants to talk about occasionally. The greatest and, occasionally the worst of professional raps news from around the globe. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much. We appreciate that you're with us. But if it's not your first rodeo, you know how this goes. We love you extra, extra hard. Whether it is your first time or your 169th, nice. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, leave a comment on whatever site or app you are tuned in on today. It would really help elevate our profile, and it would do us a huge solid. We are part of the Inside Joke Outside Voice podcast network. You can learn more about them at ijov.net and check out our hashtag Podern Family. Shout out to Genius Pie for the Married Marks podcast theme song. They're delightful. They're wonderful. You should go follow them on Twitter at Genius Pie. And hey, we'd also like to hear from you, dear listeners. Don't pretend like you ain't got time, because what the fuck you doing? You're sitting at home, just like the rest of us lazy slobs, unless you're an essential worker, in which case, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. But we would love to hear from you regardless. You can find us on Twitter at Married Marks, slide on into our DMs, or even better, send us an email, marriedmarkspod, that's P-O-D, at gmail.com. Use your words, people. Hello, baby.
Hi.
Hey, I made it through without, fits of laughter.
Fourth take.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I have hit a level where I am just losing my mind. It's so bad that, I didn't even, put makeup on today, which for those of you that don't know me, makeup is my self-care. I wake up in the morning, and, no matter how depressed I am, if I have fucking killer wing liner, I'm gonna slay my day. It just makes me feel better about me. And this morning I was like, fuck it. I didn't even care. Oh, man. I'm going back and forth between existential dread and being perfectly fine. How are you?
Oh, it's been a thing.
We joke about it, but to be honest, we've been pretty fortunate through all of this.
Yes, we have.
So we can't really say a whole lot. We've been very, very lucky, in a lot of ways that some of our friends have not. So, it's perspective. It's all perspective, and I am not here to sit around and be incredibly negative about the state of the world, because, we're all in it, and it sucks, and everything is kind of difficult, and I think for a lot of us, it's day to day, and kind of a case-by-case basis, but you know what? We're vertical. We're doing okay.
Well, I don't think that this is going to make things any better. Because...
Oh, do you have lots of bad for me today?
Because guess what today is going to be mostly about?
Is it going to be mostly about the E? Oh, God. Oh. I would say I've missed that. Oh, fuck. It's so... Oh, God, that part kills me every time I have to listen to this shit. Wait, here's my favorite part. This is the best part. They do move in herds. Jesus Christ.
So, yeah.
So it's going to be another WWE heavy day. But let's be
is.
honest, that's because when it comes to kind of hot topic news, they're the ones at the tip of it right now. They're kind of at the center of all the controversy. So that is going to be a lot of what we talk about today.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of news in the last 2 weeks.
Hit me.
Let's start with, there was another couple of furloughs and releases.
Okay. Other than what we discussed on the last episode, yeah.
So Gerald Briscoe was furloughed.
Wow.
Who has been with WWE since 1984.
I was going to say, he's been with the company for eons.
Yeah. So, but it was originally reported that he was released, but it has been clarified that he has actually been furloughed. Which means he will likely be returning to that position once all of this pandemic stuff is over, which probably not going to be anytime soon.
I was going to say, I feel bad to say this. I don't think that scenario is going to happen anytime even within the next... Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say with jobs, you know what I mean, as things come back in. But, when you're talking about something like the WWE where you're using major freaking arenas, How do you? I can't see that happening. Like that's a sad reality.
But here was a release, and it is actually a full release. Cain Velasquez had quite a long career with WWE, consisting of one match that was a squash match, and he received a shit ton of money for that contract and is now no longer employed by WWE.
That sucks, though. Like, I don't know. That just sucks. I mean, I suppose it's easy to sit there and be like, oh, well, he's got money. But that's not the point. The point is, I'm sure he'd rather be fucking working.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was dealing with I believe, knee injury
Yeah.
through most of his time with WWE. But he was released with the rest of the coronavirus-related budget cuts.
Bummer.
So apparently numbers have started to come out because obviously we've only heard about the stars. But apparently it sounds like the number that is running around is 42% of WWE employees were furloughed or let go.
Wow, that is
42%.
I would like to know which percentage are just furloughed and which percentage were actually let go. But I mean, regardless, that's a staggeringly huge number.
Mm-hmm.
That is tremendously large. Yikes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of those folks who were already released, shall we?
Sure.
How about we start with a little Luke Gallows?
Yes.
Luke Gallows has filed for a interesting trademark.
Oh, you're using interesting in the Minnesota sense.
Oh, no. No, not at all in the Minnesota sense.
Okay, I meant more there's a lead up here.
Yes, there is definitely a lead up. Because Luke Gallows has filed for the trademark of Sex Ferguson.
Here we go again. We're gonna find some girls. We're going necking.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So, yes, the original creation that was altered a little bit for Southpaw Regional Wrestling to Tex Ferguson. No, the original was Sex Ferguson.
Yes. Which was pretty much the same freaking character.
Yes.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Ah.
So we're gonna... I'm sorry, but the idea of living in a world where Sex Ferguson is a thing again, I'm kind of here for it.
Yes.
He better have that terrible fucking wig.
See, but let's also talk about the revival.
Yeah, 'cause
there's
that's the big question.
There's a lot of speculation. So now they are no longer the revival. They are the Revolt. And their new names are Cash Wheeler.
That is terrible.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, you thought that was terrible?
It's terrible.
Dax Hardwood.
Just fucking... Those are straight up porn names. Those are fucking terrible.
Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood of the Revolt.
Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood. We're here to fix your plumbing. That's fucking terrible. Why? I'm sorry, I'm not into that. That's some skeevy shit. I am not okay
I dig the
with
names because they are so obvious.
They're terrible.
Obvious.
It's terrible. They sound like the kind of guys that would drug your fucking drink at the bar on a Saturday night. I'm not into it.
See, I think they sound purposely porn names.
I'm sure they do sound like purposeful porn names, but they're terrible. They're fucking terrible.
But the speculation is pretty much being less subtle and more obvious at this point, as the latest episode of Being the Elite
The Elite
showed a scene of the sky, the Young Bucks looking up at the sky, and the clouds formed FTR.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot of surprise. We know where they're gonna go. If they don't wind up in AEW, I will legitimately be fucking shocked. I think it's pretty much cut and dry. That's what's happening here.
So, and now FTR is now being known as Fear the Revolt.
Fear the Revolt. I fear your new terrible ring names. That's what I fear.
You know, I'm okay with them, but I mean, yeah, they got to come out with like those
Dax Hardwood.
those obvious Joey Ryan porn mustaches.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
no, it's got to happen.
I mean, gotta is a strong word, Rich.
Gotta happen.
It's a strong word.
Why you got to hate everything that's awesome?
Because I was assigned female at birth, and that means that 80% of the internet fucking hates me.
So there's strong rumors going around about WWE.
You don't say!
Yeah.
Or is this like stuff I don't know?
There's the strong rumor that WWE might be selling to ESPN or Fox.
Yeah. This, we did have a little conversation about off air, and I have to tell you, I would actually be okay with this. I might be one of the few people that is. I think it depends on what would happen with leadership during that sale.
Sure.
If no change in leadership happens, I don't give a shit who owns the company. It's still going to be a problem. Like, you could... I have terrible analogies, but they take too long to fucking explain. It's a bad idea. I don't know. If they don't have leadership changes, it's a bad call. It would be an interesting move. Especially since ESPN has a lot of legitimacy behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it is a brand that is trusted by a lot of people. When you take a brand that is synonymous with the negative and the shady, like the WWE, which, let's be honest, their brand is incredibly sullied right now. And you have a company that has a brand recognition of trustworthiness and legitimacy, right? If they were to acquire the WWE, that makes you wonder how would that public perception of the WWE change? Would it give them an air of legitimacy in a time when the majority of people really are not happy with the company and have zero trust factor in them? It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, these rumors have gone around before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the first time.
I don't have a whole lot of faith that these rumors are anything more than somebody just trying to stir a hornet's nest.
Just rumors.
But it's definitely worth talking about. I mean...
Do you think that it would help or hinder the WWE were it to happen?
I don't think it could hurt any more than it's already hurting. I mean, if you really look at things...
If you have a dumpster that's already on fire and you throw one match into the already burning dumpster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it would hurt it terribly. I think Vince McMahon being out of the picture could bring a lot of folks back that have disappeared over the last few years.
People that might be willing to trust the company again from an employee perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take the whole COVID scenario out of it and let's just talk about like brass tacks here. Because I mean, obviously with the COVID scenario, like a lot of that is kind of a moot fucking point right now.
I mean, we would lose some of the die-hard WWE fans, the Vince apologists, I'll call them.
I feel like his tone carried it. Could you see the air quotes in your minds? Because that was a thing. It was beautiful.
I mean, these are the folks who are basically slamming everything AEW and New Japan just because of brand loyalty and...
I've never completely understood the brand loyalty thing, but that's just me. Like, every single one of those companies has something that's stupid and shady and dumb.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know. It is a very intriguing thought to me, though, about if the company were to sell, how would that affect their brand? How would it affect their social perception, the way that they function in social media? And then I gotta tell you, there's a lot of people out there that also think that, when and if Caligula ever gets the fuck out of the picture, if Paul winds up taking over the company, he's got his own list of problems.
Yeah.
So like, I think a lot of the big social aspect criticisms would not disappear under Paul's regime if that were to happen. I mean, like, that's another... That we can do a whole podcast just on that, where we really break down the problematic aspects there, too.
Oh, see.
Yeah,
we got some NXT stuff to talk about, too. So,
speaking of Paul.
Speaking of Paul.
It's a beautiful segue.
But apparently Deonna Purrazzo had some words about...
Oh, no.
The NXT culture. How...
Oh, I can't wait to hear this, because go ahead.
Basically, Deonna Purrazzo came out saying roughly that everyone there was expected to be happy to be there and to not ask for more than what they were given. So that seems a little odd.
Yes.
In a business that really requires you to, I'm sorry to use a Vinceism, grab the brass ring.
Here's the thing, though, and this is just speculation, because I'm not going to delve too far into this, but I am going to say there are lots of rumors and things that float around about the quote-unquote culture at the Performance Center. The words I have heard most often associated is high school locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't confirm nor deny this. This is literally just things that I've read on the internet, things that I've heard from other people, in, speculative conversation, same kind of scuttlebutt we all hear if you dig deep enough. But from what I have heard and gathered about the culture there, that kind of commentary wouldn't surprise me. Like the whole, don't question it, just be happy that you have what you have, and you're expected to be positive. Now, is that a culture that I necessarily think is productive? No, absolutely not. No organization, I don't care what you fucking do, no organization gets better if they can't take some criticism.
Yeah.
And, like, I get that it's a very different kind of company, and it's entertainment-based, yada, 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 fucking yada. I get it. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. And I'm sure she's coming under tons of fire for opening her mouth on this. And lots of online criticism.
Yeah, well, that is to be expected when somebody speaks out against the WWE. You have to expect tons of criticism, but also tons of support. So, it is what it is. I mean, it will be interesting to see if more people start to speak out about that and back up that story, or if it just falls on silence.
That is the big question, is whether or not the silence factor continues, especially living in our current age where people definitely have very strong opinions one way or the other about the way that things should be functioning right now. I have a feeling we have not seen the last of people getting very vocal about expectations in this industry.
I suppose it's time to talk about one of our uncomfortable stories.
Oh, yay.
Velveteen Dream.
Oh, God. I really don't want to have this conversation.
So last week, accusations were made on Reddit saying that Velveteen Dream was sharing inappropriate images with minors via Snapchat or Instagram direct message, one of those two. Now, it was originally Instagram message. The image was released and then removed and released and removed and released and removed because Reddit doesn't allow that kind of thing to on
Circulate.
r²circle.
Yeah.
But obviously there was the folks who are like, okay, Dream, you're done. There were folks defending it, saying that he was obviously hacked. Dream came out and saying that it was an image that was taken and his account was hacked. But then an audio recording was released, which was very obviously Dream's voice.
Okay.
It was just one sentence, but it was a Snapchat, and the audio was, "What school do you go to?"
I mean,
out of context,
Out of
it's hard
context,
to take
it's
much
hard
out
to
of
take
that.
Yes, here's my me personally. The second something like this goes around, as we know, I believe victims,
You know,
like unapologetically. That's just how I roll. And I've been pretty open about the fact that like Dream has done some pretty problematic shit that I haven't really agreed with in the past. I went from being a super huge supporter of his to like, I'm really not that into you, bud. And then this was kind of like it for me. I'm like, okay, we're done. But even I will admit, like, it's very hard. It's very difficult to take that without a lot of context. However, I will say, like, context doesn't outweigh impact. You know?
so I mean, there is some interesting aspects to this, though. One of which was the images were sent to young men. So a lot of the internet
Freaked out.
Because immediately when the accusations were made, everybody was saying, oh God, it's Enzo all over again. It's a girl trying to be famous. And it wasn't a girl at all.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest with you, I hate that even fucking comes up. Because it's like, it doesn't matter what the context of, like, the sexual orientation of the person is.
No, it absolutely does
fucking stupid and should have no bearing. But again, you know, oh God, my brain is like racing with all of the ways that the development on this story is now going to piss me off.
There is no development. It has been radio silence since last week.
Of course it has. Of course
Dream
it
denied
has.
it. WWE hasn't mentioned it.
No, they're not going to. They don't want to. Which is so disgusting. It's just so disgusting to me. But okay.
Dream was not on NXT this week, though he is getting ready to have a match with Adam Cole. So, yeah. We really don't have much to go on with that story.
Well, I mean...
Other than... is it possible it was a hacked image? Sure.
Doubtful. But sure.
If it was in his private Instagram and somebody hacked his Instagram, they would have access to that photo. Mm-hmm. It's possible. Why would 3 people make that story up?
That's exactly my point. Why would multiple people make up that story? You're also talking... This is going to sound terrible. You're not talking about the fucking Rock. You're talking about, you know... This is not a guy who, like, the general public knows who the fuck they are. Like, this is somebody who, like, wrestling fans, and really only wrestling fans that watch NXT...
Yeah.
Are going to know. And I also, like, I appreciate this. I appreciate that Richard is willing to play devil's advocate on this shit. Because I'm not. I never am. Like, I don't necessarily... You don't necessarily. I don't want to... I'm sorry. I shouldn't misframe that as you're doing it because it's what you believe. You do it because it's like...
I have to show the other side of the possible story.
Yeah.
And whereas I don't agree with the other side...
Yeah.
I will have to bring it up.
Right. I wanted to preface that because I know that in the past we have got heated over that conversation on the air. And I do not want people misconstruing your perspective.
No, absolutely not. No, I think that my personal beliefs is it's legitimate. And
we should believe the victims and the people that came forward.
But until more evidence comes out...
But it's not going to, because they're just going to sweep this. Jesus fucking Christ. We are living in a world where the Pentagon verified the existence of UFOs. Literally, this is a thing that literally fucking happened. Ain't nobody talking about it, because no one cares. The only thing the internet wants to do is be a bunch of fucking simps that are all drooling over Kim Jong-un's sister. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I swear to God. The internet is just a cesspool right now. I can't. I just fucking can't.
Yeah.
Like, that's, oh, fuck, dude. I hate that this shit is going to just disappear. I hate it because, like, we should be calling this shit out. And yes, there should be fucking follow-up and we should be educated on it. But it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna sit here with my delicious adult beverage and drink.
Yep. So, WWE, as we were saying, it's been having pretty bad weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about the ratings dips since January 1st of 2020 through now.
I'm actually interested in this because I have not looked at the numbers in a few weeks for really any of the companies. I'm not sure how AEW is performing as well. I know they're getting viewership, but I haven't really looked at the numbers.
So NXT has taken the worst hit in the 18 to 49 demographic, down 19%.
It's a big jump.
Yes. And that was through March? No, I'm sorry. That was through April.
Okay.
Through now. They have lost 19% of that demographic.
Wow. That is a significant percentage.
Raw has lost 17% of that demographic.
Wow.
AEW has lost 15% of that demographic. And SmackDown has lost 13% of that demographic. There's an average of 16% of that demographic that is no longer watching wrestling.
Let me ask you a question. Now, I can speak to, like, our own personal perspective. But let me ask you a question. Because during this time, like, obviously we're living in an extraordinarily emotionally and mentally, and for some people physically, challenging time, right? Mm-hmm. During challenging times, we usually want a little bit of escapism. So a lot of people turn to binging shows or playing video games or just watching something that's going to take their mind off of things. Wrestling has always been, in my opinion, it's always been about escapism. So why isn't it working right now?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a deep question, and I would love to hear from some of our listeners, and I don't care if you hear this, like, a couple weeks after this episode airs. I would really love to hear from you. Like, are you watching wrestling? Are you not watching wrestling? And why?
I mean, I'll be honest. We haven't watched wrestling in a month now.
We haven't. Part of it is because watching it has always been a community piece for us. We've always gone to Bar Luchador, and we watch with friends, we watch with colleagues, we kind of celebrate it there. And Bar Luchador has not been able to operate because of, shutdowns and everything else going on.
I mean, we don't have access to cable here at home.
No, we don't at the moment, unfortunately. And that's not something that's going to change because, I hate to tell you all this, at the end of the day, there are priorities that definitely rate higher than that for us. I mean, we're fine. Please don't freak out. I don't want to say that. But, we're prepared in case shit goes haywire.
So my question then is some of this drop off people tightening their belts and cutting cable?
I think for some people that's probably a chunk of it.
SmackDown did have the smallest percentage drop, which is on Fox.
Yes. So maybe there is some validity to that. I'm sure there are people that have, the finances are hitting people very hard. There's a ton of people that are out of jobs. I mean, we have, I think, the highest unemployment rate.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of people that have applied for unemployment and are out of work right now is just astronomical. And it's because
it's the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
In the history of keeping these numbers.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you really think about that, I'm sure there's tons of people that, cable's the lowest of the fucking priorities. Yeah. They're worried about keeping the heat on, keeping the lights on, keeping food on the table,
a roof over the head.
Yeah.
There's also the aspect that, and I have watched a match in this, in the quarantine era of wrestling, where a match loses a lot without an audience.
That was going to be my other thought, too. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And it's weird, right?
It is. Because not only are you missing the crowd, you hear everything.
It has to be, I think of, Ultimate Deletion. which was just delightful from start to finish. But it's because it was so fucking asinine and it was edited in post.
Yes.
So you could do some crazy shit and get away with it. You can't really do that with live television. It just doesn't work. Yeah, I think you're right. Like there's definitely a mood and a vibe that just is not there. Because I've watched a few matches on YouTube because AEW always has some stuff that goes up, and you know, we have friends that just send us stuff and hey, did you see this? Did you see this thing that happened? And you're right. It loses something. It loses some of that charm of, I mean, as much as like we piss and moan about how wrestling audiences can be super troubling at times, it is kind of a, I would almost argue, a necessary part to some degree. Even if it's just like 5 people that are super fucking engaged.
Yeah.
But that's a problem when you have a bunch of like,
I mean,
like AEW's like having workers around the ring was kind of cool, but it's still different. It is very different.
I mean, even the smallest indie show that we've attended, which was probably about 100 people, was still more engaging. The audience was more engaged. Not having the audience definitely is a factor.
Yeah.
Now,
I would agree. I'm sure there's people in the industry that would debate that. I'm sure there's wrestlers that would debate that, but I think a lot of them would also agree.
Well, but it also affects the wrestlers too, because there are a lot of wrestlers who feed off of energy of the crowd, and not having that hurts their ability to perform as well.
Yeah, it does. It can throw you. Like, I'm not even in wrestling, but I've been a performer since I was 6 years old. I can tell you, when you go out there and a crowd is cold and they're not feeling what you're doing, it can take you right out of the game. You could lose your focus. You could have a hard time keeping character. You could have a hard time remembering your lines or remembering what you're supposed to be doing or forgetting where you're supposed to be on the stage. Like, it's all that same choreographed kind of shit, you know? And when you have a crowd that takes you out of it because they're quiet, or they're not responsive to anything, or I've even had shows where, like, I've been there, you know, 20 person theater where there's 10 people in an audience. And it's really hard to keep your focus because you're just so busy. You're too busy worrying about, like, why is no one here? God, it feels... It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
And that's not to say you can't be a professional and work through it. Like, it's what you do, but
I mean,
it's not the same. It's not the same. You lose that feeling.
I'm dealing with that with my DJing.
Yeah.
You know, I have now, you know, I've missed 2 gigs because of the coronavirus quarantine, the stay-at-home orders. And
yeah, it's going to be a rough DJ year for you, dude.
I have managed to, I've been spinning on Twitch.
Yeah.
You know, Married Marks, twitch.tv/Married Marks. But there is a feeling, though, of missing watching the people dance to your music.
Seeing the crowd response.
Yes.
Feeling the surge and hearing the surge. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does affect, it even affects me when I'm doing, like, I can sit and do a mix, but I don't think it's nearly as good as when I'm live.
Right. It's a very different kind of thing. And I mean, like, what sucks is, like, I've listened to the stuff that you've been doing, you know? I don't stay tuned always for the whole thing, but, like, I do tune in and I do listen. Believe it or not, I don't just, like, sit in the basement and watch him, you know, dick around on his Newmark for an hour at a time. I never do. But, like, I will turn on the stream because I'm interested in it. And, like, it definitely carries, but, like, there is always a difference between, and it's the same thing with our friend Liquid 86, who's another great local DJ. You should, by the way, follow X Geek Media because they're good people. There's awesome DJs, and 86 is a really good friend of ours, an incredibly talented DJ, and he's been doing a lot of streaming too. And like, I've watched tons of streams where y'all are at shows, and then I've watched tons of streams where y'all are not at shows, and like, even for the most professional, it's great for you guys because you get to sit there and, like, you have time to, like, think about your transitions and think about all these things, and you can think about all these little nuancy bullshit things that you don't always think about when you're on stage, but, like, you can't substitute for that raw fucking energy and the shit that happens on the fly. Like, that's the cool part about DJing. We know a lot of DJs. I have been on stage for many a fucking show and watched many fucking people work. It is never the same when it's on a stream.
No,
it's never
it's
the
not.
same. It's cool. Like, and I
Yeah.
like, it's super awesome because like I'll put on a stream if you're doing it or someone else. I'll be upstairs, like working on my room or like doing laundry or like putting on makeup to do some TikTok videos or some shit. Because that's the thing I fucking do. But yeah, like, and it's super fun. But yeah, it's not the same because you can't feed off that crowd and the crowd can't feed off you. It's a very different monster.
So I think these numbers are going to continue to go down the longer we are crowdless, which is probably going to be to the end of the year, I'm going to guess.
If not longer. I mean, we have to examine the fact that there are, I mean, without like being super fucking, you can't talk about this shit without being super heavy. Like, we live in a heavy world right now.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about the fact that like New Orleans is talking about canceling Mardi Gras for next year.
Yeah.
Tokyo is talking about now outright canceling the Olympics, not just holding it at a later time, outright canceling it. That is an actual conversation that is happening. Like, I don't see sports happening with crowds in 2020. I just can't theoretically see it. And there's a very strong chance that we are going to have a secondary wave of this virus. And if you look historically,
the second wave is the deadliest.
It always is. It always fucking has been. And I mean, that second wave could come in the summer. It could come in like July, August.
I mean, when you look at the last major pandemic, like big time pandemic we had was the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
I mean, not to, shit on, the Ebola virus and AIDS.
And SARS and all that other stuff.
SARS and all that. But when you look at the Spanish flu, the first wave killed about 640,000 people, 750,000 people. Mm-hmm. The second wave killed tens of millions.
It's statistically, like, we're not just making this up. There's history and science to back this up. The secondary wave of a viral pandemic is almost always the most deadly and the most dangerous. And everybody seems to think like this is going to happen in the fall. Chances are, if you look at the statistics, because I've spent time over the last 2 weeks talking with my friends that work in the fucking medical industry that are all worried about this shit. It could come in like July and August. Like, that's what a lot of medical professionals are looking at. That terrifies me because you're talking about times like in Minnesota, State Fair, Renfest. Like, I cannot see these things happening. I don't think we're going to have wrestling events at all here for the rest of the fucking year. And like, my heart is breaking. But at the same time, I want people to be safe. And
exactly.
I want the talent to be safe. I want the people that I love to watch to be safe and alive and around so that when we can do this again, we can watch. But yeah, I can't see arena-based or even like Full Sail. I can't see it happening. Not anytime soon. I just can't. I just can't. I don't see how. I don't see how without it being a detriment to thousands, if not millions of lives.
Yep.
It's so, God, guys, I am so sorry. Like, this is the only time I will apologize for the consistent tone of this podcast because, like, I want to be that happy-go-lucky thing that everybody can just, like, enjoy. But, like, I can't. I just can't. It's such a weird fucking time, and we have to be logical about it. But it's really intriguing. I don't see it happening.
Well, only the future knows. How about one more story? And this is a biggie.
Okay.
This is a biggie. I'm taking this from the Wrestling Inc. story, even though I've read it on multiple sites and listened to multiple podcasts about this. WWE and top company officials have been hit with multiple class action lawsuits on behalf of shareholders.
Yeah, this is kind of huge.
So I have some of the press releases here. So the Gross Law Firm filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of shareholders accusing the company of making materially false and or misleading statements and or failing to disclose that they perpetrated a fraudulent scheme. The suit noted that investors would have been affected between February 7th, 2019 and February 5th, 2020. Their press release says a class action has commenced on behalf of certain shareholders in World Wrestling Entertainment, Inc. The filed complaint alleges the defendants made materially false and or misleading statements and or failed to disclose that defendants perpetrated a fraudulent scheme which, 1. Deceived the investing public regarding WWE's business and prospects, 2. Artificially inflated the price of WWE Class A common stock, 3. Permitted certain senior executives of WWE to sell more than $282 million worth of their personally held shares at fraud-inflated prices, and 4. Caused the public to purchase WWE Class A common stock at artificially inflated prices.
That's insane. Like, the lawsuit's not insane, but, like, the fact that this has to happen is nuts.
Then we have Levi and Korinsky's firm, who also filed a similar class action suit, also said the complaint alleges that WWE Inc. violated federal securities laws by issuing materially false and misleading information and or failing to disclose material information.
Wow.
This is a big one, though. Glancy, Prongay, and Murray firm. On April 25th, 2019, WWE reported that for the first quarter 2019, revenue declined year over year, notably in the live events and consumer products segments. We talked about that.
We did.
Though the company attributed the decline to the absence of certain quote-unquote superstars, several analysts connected the results to difficulties securing a media rights deal for the Middle East and North Africa region with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Ooh, there it is.
On this news, the company's share price fell $13.12 per share, or over 13%, to close to $85.38 per share on April 25th, 2019, thereby injuring investors. Then, on October 31st, 2019, in connection with the company's third quarter 2019 financial results, WWE lowered its fiscal 2019 adjusted OIBDA guidance to a range of $180 million to $190 million, stating that no assurances could be made that a media rights deal for the Middle East and North Africa region would ever be completed. On this news, the company's share price fell $10.40 per share, or over 15%, to close at $65.04 per share on October 31st, thereby injuring investors further. Then on January 30th, 2020, WWE announced the departures of WWE co-presidents George A. Barrios and Michelle D. Wilson. On this news, the company's share price fell $13.42 per share, or over 21%, to close at $48.88 per share on January 31st, 2020, thereby injuring investors further. Finally, on February 6, 2020, WWE reported adjusted OIBDA of only $180 million due to the failure to complete a media rights deal for the Middle East North Africa region. On this news, the company's share price fell $4.50 per share, or over 9%, to close at $44.50 per share.
God.
Thereby injuring investors further. And then they go into the details about how the event, the Super Showdown event, where the superstars were held in Saudi Arabia for almost 24 hours, 36 hours.
I remember that fiasco.
Caused more damage to the stock, injuring investors even more.
TLDR. Literally, like, every major decision the company has made. It's just injured stockholders.
So, the class action lawsuit, though, there was one filed. Their suit is against WWE, Vince McMahon, Paul Levesque, Stephanie McMahon, Frank Riddick III, George Barrios, Stuart Goldfarb, Laureen Ong, Robin Peterson, Ellen Wexler, Manjit Singh, and Jeffrey Speed. But those first names are really the only ones anybody knows.
Yeah. That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, there are currently 4 class action lawsuits against WWE, all filed roughly at the same time.
I'm just gonna say it. Like, how the fuck is the WWE ever gonna come out of all this bullshit? I know the answer is like, oh, it'll happen. But like, fucking how? How? They have a massive social disaster on their hands. They've got a governmental disaster fucking on their hands. They've got multiple class action lawsuits against them that are major in nature.
There's the breach of contract lawsuit from the the commissioner of the XFL.
Mm-hmm. How the fuck did they come out of this? Other than ESPN buying them and acquiring all those debts and putting ESPN's fucking legal team behind it. Like, I'm sorry,
See,
that
that's the
ESPN
thing,
deal's
though.
looking real...
They named specific people.
I know.
So even at the sale of the company, those specific people could be still held responsible.
It's crazy.
I mean...
I'm trying to figure out how the fuck... How do you come out of this? How? People ask me, it's so funny to me. Like, I have tons of people in my life that don't give a shit about wrestling. Like, we have tons of friends that don't give a shit about wrestling. My former boss, who's no longer working with me, works for a different organization now. I still talk to her. She was sending me shit about wrestling, and she doesn't even fucking care about wrestling. But she was sending me all this shit about Vince and lawsuits, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And, like, she went to law school, so, like, she knows all sorts of crazy shit about this stuff. And she was, like, breaking it down to me, and I'm like, I know, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy to me.
Okay, so, here. I'm going to put you in the role of Vince McMahon.
Please don't, but okay. No. For hypothetical sake, fine.
For hypothetical sake.
Bring me my chicken and pasta. Pasta and chicken. No sauce.
Such good shit.
Such good shit.
Here we are.
Sorry.
The end of April. The beginning of May.
Yeah.
In the last 2 months, you have seen your biggest money-making event lose a ton of money because no people could see it. Except on TV. There was no live action... there was no live audience.
Right.
So all those ticket sales, you have had no revenue from your television show live audiences. So what are we looking at here now? 8, 9 episodes of Raw, 8, 9 episodes of SmackDown, 8, 9 episodes of NXT, pay-per-view, the house shows every weekend. All gone. All that money gone. Merch sales declined.
Ratings are declining.
Ratings are declining. Network subscriptions are declining. You are now being sued by a former employee. You are now have 4 class action lawsuits being brought to you on the behalf of shareholders. And there is no end in sight to how long this could be. What do you do?
Blame millennials. No.
I mean...
The irony being I am one, but...
Do you see any out?
No. No. Which means, like, if I am Vince, I'm just going to double down on what I think I know works. I'm just going to double down because, like, what's always worked this way? It's always worked this way before. It's going to work now. It's going to be fine. Maybe we could, inject some bleach. It's such good shit! Like, seriously, like, but I'm not, like, I'm joking, but I'm also not joking.
So
like,
you furlough 40% of your workforce.
Mm-hmm. Move to a smaller office.
To save a few $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even move to the other office.
I know.
That's on hold.
Well, yeah, no company is making major financial changes like that. Everything's on hold.
And now they have to defend themselves with even more of this money that they are not making against all these lawsuits.
Like, when does Vince get to the point where he's just like, nope, fuck it. Like, okay, I'm not going down with the ship. I'm kidding. Wait, does this mean I have to start using the sad Titanic music for WWE?
When does Vince sell the ship?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what happens here? Like, the only outcome I could see feasibly be happening is, like, if ESPN buys the company and acquires all those debts and acquires all those things, you're talking about, like, first off, we have that brand legitimacy, right?
I mean, Disney.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, though. Like, I suppose, like, yeah, Disney/Buena Vista does own ESPN, don't they?
It's Disney that would be buying the WWE.
But that's the thing, like, oh, what major fucking changes would happen to the company in that wake? Like, because there would be changes, and not just, like, financial. Like, the product would probably change tremendously. in the grand
Yes
scheme
and
of
no.
things. Yes
Yeah,
and no.
yes and no.
Like, not in, like, the whole, like, wrestling's G-rated now. Poo-poo caca fart fart. Check out our boogers, we're Degeneration X. Like, it's not gonna be that. But, like, I could see them making some pretty substantial changes. I mean, that's the other thing, though. Like, yeah, I mean, theoretically, like, the company is owned, like, ESPN is part of the Disney umbrella. But, like, can we acknowledge Disney got their own fucking problems right now, too? So, like, how much are they willing to acquire?
I mean,
When you have a company that's, like, kind of a financial disaster right now, is that even like, it's not like a surefire thing. Like, if we're talking to, like, 2 years ago, and ESPN had been like, okay, we're thinking about buying WWE, I'm sure, like, the execs would have been like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like, it's consistent money. Even when it's not doing well, it's consistent money. It's something. We can work with that. Do they theoretically take that on right now? Like, is that a fucking shot in the foot?
I mean, look at all the companies that Disney owns.
Oh, they own everything.
So there's the Disney live action stuff.
They're
there's
literally
the Disney
buying
animation stuff.
Yeah.
They own Marvel Studios.
Mm-hmm.
They own Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
They own 20th Century Studios.
Mm-hmm.
They own...
Touchstone is... I think Touchstone is a Disney... Here,
No,
I'm going to look
I'm
it up.
looking at it. I'm looking at them right now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just crazy everything they own. They own ESPN. They own A&E networks.
Yeah, they do own Touchstone. They own Touchstone, Lucasfilm, A&E, History Channel, Lifetime.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, I mean, this is fucking crazy. Like, the amount of stuff that they own, you know, Pixar, Hollywood Record, Vice Media, Core Publishing, intellectual properties for Star Wars, The Muppets, the MCU, Chronicles of Narnia, they own that, Pirates of the Caribbean, all the Pixar films, franchises like Winnie the Pooh, Indiana Jones, Grey's Anatomy, like, they own so much shit. It's Disney, I mean, it's fucking Disney. They own everything. They are, by and large. Like,
So, but in the aspect of wrestling, it wouldn't necessarily change.
the product, you think?
Yeah.
I think the product would just be
Because
like
there's
status quo.
enough adult entertainment that Disney offers. I think it would still be stuck in the PG era,
Yeah.
which I don't have a problem
I'm
with.
fine with that. Like, I just don't want it to be like G-rated.
No,
Like,
I don't
we
think
tried
it would go
that
that
once
route.
and it didn't work well.
It will not go that route.
Yeah. But, like, from a financial perspective, is that a smart thing for them to do? Is it worth it? I mean, that's risky as fuck.
Yeah,
With the political, with the political ramifications, especially. Like, especially with the political ramifications? How are they gonna do that? I don't know. I would love to hear some of our listeners weigh in on this one, because holy shit. This is wow. Like, we could literally do an entire podcast just talking about, like, the theoretics of that. That's crazy.
So, I mean, but seriously, how much longer can Vince bleed money before he tries to cut ties and save the last few years of his life financially?
Do you think that he would put the company before that? I mean, it's company.
Do you are you asking if I believe he would burn the company to the ground before anybody else got it?
Yeah, because I think he would. I 100% think he would. I don't think he's smart enough not to.
But to do that is to admit defeat and to let somebody else win.
He won't see it that way. He won't see it that way. He only sees that, like, he is at the helm in every failure. I truly believe this, y'all. He sees it as, like, he is at the helm. His decisions are what matter. His decisions are the right decisions. And anybody who doesn't fall in line with his decisions, that's the reason they're failing. I truly fucking believe that that's how he sees things.
I don't think he would burn the ship to the ground. I don't think he would scuttle the ship. I think he would try and...
Why is everything boat references with us?
I don't know.
It fits.
I mean, the captain's not going to go down with the ship. He'll sell first.
Or he'll just decide to blow the ship up.
Or maybe he sells to Paul and Stephanie and says, "You good luck, I'm out."
Does like the Ric Flair, peace
dude.
dude, this is weird. And just bails.
I don't know. I really don't know, but I think we're going to see a major change in that company before the end of this year.
You think so?
I think it happens before the end of this year.
Like before the end of the fiscal?
The longer this year goes on the way it is now, the worse it gets for him.
It's not going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like I know that there are cities that are like starting to slowly open and some are doing it phased and some are doing it differently, but like I honestly think that like those cities that are going too quick, they're going to set us back and it's just going to prolong the shit longer and longer and longer. I mean, Jesus Christ, like I won't talk about like what I do for a living at my day job, but like I can tell you my day job is already working on like not having me back as much as possible. I may not be back at work until the end of the summer. Like that's the reality of what we're looking at. This is not going away.
It isn't.
We cannot. There was about a 4-week span in February when I wanted to believe that none of this was going to happen. Yeah. And I knew in my heart it was coming. And I fought it so hard. Because I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And like, here we fucking are. It's not getting any better. And it's certainly not, it's going to get worse before it fucking gets better. We're not past that.
Nope.
So I don't think wrestling...
and that puts us in jeopardy.
Yeah, it really does.
This podcast. Wrestling, not having wrestling, we are cutting ourselves to every other week right now.
Can I get raw? Like, will you get mad at me if I get a little raw here?
I won't get mad at you.
I feel... I don't want to fucking cry, and I know I'm gonna.
Okay.
Like... I feel like we're just like failing people consistently because I just feel like there's no positive here, and I can't just put a fucking positive spin on shit. I fucking can't. It like vehemently goes against everything I believe as a person, and I miss the days when wrestling was fun and I could be savage and like we would laugh about it and crack jokes with friends on Twitter about like Snapback Shannon and Snapback Karen. Mm-hmm. And I just can't. My heart fucking hurts because I feel like I come on here and I don't know what to say. I come on here and I don't know what to do. I just feel lost when it comes to this shit now. And I hate that that's where I'm at. Because, like, I don't want to stop doing this podcast. But at the same time, I feel like I just feel fucking lost. And, like, thinking about the press of things. And then when you add all this fucking negative bullshit on top of it, like, I feel like a failure. Because I feel like I don't know. And like, I know I'm just being emotional about shit.
And it's not just us, though.
I know it's not just us. I know that we have friends that are in the same fucking position.
I look at like Going in Raw. Today, they left their office.
I know. And are
going back to running in their houses.
Can I be real with you? I haven't been able to bring myself to listen or watch. Because the last time I tried, I just fucking cried for them so hard.
And we love them so much.
Like, I feel bad because I haven't reached out to say hi. And because I've just kind of been, like, lost in my own mental health battle lately. Mm-hmm. And, like, I'm very open about that. Like, I have been completely lost in my own mental health battle. It's why I'm not present on Twitter. I just fucking can't. I can't right now. Like, I'm doing everything I can to be positive in the spaces that I have to be positive. But, like, I knew that was coming for them this week. Mm-hmm. I haven't been able to bring myself to, like, listen. Because, like, the last time I fucking tried, and the last time I read all that shit, I just started fucking crying. I just literally, my heart fucking hurts for them. My heart hurts for all of our friends in this fucking industry that are, like, hurting and suffering and can't. I hate it. I just hate it. And it does me no good to, like, sit here and be super fucking emotional about it, and I know that, like, it's not fixing anything, and I'm trying to use my dollar where we can, but I'm also trying to make sure that, like, we're okay should something fucking happen, because, like, I'm, that's what fucking adults do. We try to plan for contingencies, but, like, it's so hard right now, and I don't know. I just feel like everything is very uncertain. And I've always been one of those people that, like, challenge and change is fine. I've always rolled through challenge and change. I adapt to it pretty well. But, like, it's been non-stop. Every day. Like, it hit me today that, like, tomorrow is May 1st. And I've literally been home since before our shelter-in-place started here, because my office sent us home. I've been home almost 2 months.
Today was the 6th week I've been work at home.
And I was work from home before you were.
Yeah.
So I've literally been home almost 2 months. And, like...
I've been work from home since the day before your birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been 6 weeks for me.
Yeah, and it's been about 7.5 for me. So it's been almost 2 solid months that I've been home. And, like, I'm grateful. I don't want to seem ungrateful. I'm grateful that we are privileged enough to be in a circumstance where we can work from home. And, we're okay, knock on wood. But, like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel bad. So I don't know. I don't know what I was doing with that rawness. It needed to come out. And I just wanted to say, I am sorry to our listeners if it hasn't been the savagery and the funniness and the shit that a lot of you tune in for. And we're not the only podcast that's going through this. I mean, Jesus Christ, even the McElroys are fucking feeling it. Not that we know them, but, like, we're avid Sawbones listeners.
Lots of podcasts are falling off because of this.
I know. It's hard. It's super fucking hard. And, like...
I mean, yeah, when
we also pay. We pay for
covering,
this, too. Like, this is not... We don't make money for this.
Yeah, we have not taken in a penny in 4 years of doing this
God,
podcast.
have we been doing this? By the way, we had an anniversary, and we totally forgot to talk about it. We had a podcast anniversary.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was WrestleMania weekend. We had a podcast anniversary, and we completely forgot to mention it on the last episode. 169 episodes. And I love doing this, but, like, I'm not going to say that I'm going to come on here week after week and try to be something that I'm not feeling right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I only hope that, like, our listeners, if y'all feel some kind of way about this shit, or you're frustrated, or if you're feeling something similar, just know that you're not alone. Like, everybody is going through it. Everybody's feeling shit right now. If you need to talk, if you want to reach out, if you want to just, like, send us an email talking about your experiences and what you're going through, please do. Please do. I would love to know what's going on with some of our listeners, and I just want people to know that, like, I do apologize, because I know that, like, the product we're putting out right now it's not our normal product.
No.
It's not. But I think we're doing the best we can given the circumstances. We'll keep the lights on here as long as we possibly fucking can on this podcast.
As long as we can, as long as we have something we can talk about, we will try to be here. But yeah, every other week right now seems to be the best for us at the moment. So. Yeah,
I just feel bad. And, like, I've really been trying to process this, and I have felt really shitty. And I worry for our friends. I worry for people that are in this industry. I worry for all the fans that have been affected. I just worry. I just worry a lot. I worry a lot about a lot of people. And my hope through all of this is that we at least are, I don't know. It's just, I don't want people to, like, lose touch, because I feel like we need something right now. We need something. We need something to hang on to and something to cling to. And I don't know. It's a rough fucking time. So if you have something to say, or you want to share your story, or you want to talk to us, or you just want to reach out and be like, hey, yo, the podcast sucks. I don't give a shit. Like, drop us an email. It's fine. Like, marriedmarkspod@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter, marriedmarks. Like, we're doing our best, just like all of our friends are doing their best, just like you're doing all of your best.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got rambly and ridiculous, and I apologize. You know,
okay.
I've only gotten super raw on this podcast a handful of fucking times over the years, but...
Yeah, well, we live in an emotional time.
We do, and I'm doing my best.
So hopefully in 2 weeks we'll have something more positive to talk about.
Please, God. You know what? I do have something positive to talk about, because Minoru Suzuki on Instagram is just a fucking prize.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. If you need a pick-me-up, just go look for the shit that, like, Minoru has been posting. Because I think he made some kind of post or tweet today that he just wanted to, like, suplex the coronavirus. And he's just running around
Is
looking...
he turning into the Iron Sheik?
He is kind of... No, he's way more, like, eloquent and delightful than Iron Sheik.
So he's not telling the coronavirus to go fuck itself?
No, he's
Break
not.
its back, make it humble?
No, I did see that, and that was fucking delightful. No, he's been, running around in his dapper, delightful way. That he has with a delight. Here, you know what else? I do have one other fun thing I'll talk about, because it is fucking terrible, but funny terrible. So we'll leave you guys on a funny note. He's been Instagramming, I just said pro wrestling not dead. But Suzuki's literally willing to, like, slap the virus in the face and put it in a chokehold until it taps, is basically what he said. Okay. Which is fucking fantastic. Also, like, the pictures on his Instagram are just delightful. It's just a bunch of freaking hooligans hanging around, and it's great. Also, if you want to feel better about yourself in the middle of all this shit, just look at Darby Allin's forearm tattoo, because it could be one of the worst fucking forearm tattoos ever made. It's awful.
I mean, is it comparative to really bad neck tattoos that Cody made? No, it's still not as bad as Cody's neck tattoo.
Nothing is as bad as Cody's neck tattoo, but this is pretty fucking bad. It's not good.
It's bones.
It's a forearm tattoo of a forearm. Like that.
Bones in the forearm.
Bones in the forearm. That's the tattoo. Sir, how did your tattoo artist not try to talk you out of that shit? 'Cause no. It's not even, I'm gonna be honest, I've seen it done better. Even Aubrey in this photo just looks uncomfortable with it. Anyway, make yourself feel better about life and your choices. Go look at that tattoo.
So, I suppose that'll do it for this week's episode.
Yes.
So, I suppose, everybody take care of yourselves, honestly. Just be safe. That's all I can really ask.
Be safe, and remember that in this time, it is okay to not be okay. You don't have to work through this entire pandemic expecting yourself to accomplish great things. If you're not, like, keeping up with your workout routine, don't beat yourself up about it. If you're, eating Easy Mac 2 meals a fucking week, don't beat yourself up about it. Like...
I bred a gold rose.
You did breed a gold rose. If you play Animal Crossing, please tweet at us.
Hit us up. I have a full wrestling ring in my island.
He's not joking. With a fucking ring bell.
With a ring bell, with a commentator's desk, with, seating for people. If you want to watch wrestling, which unfortunately doesn't really work well in the ring, all you can do is lay in the ring and roll back and forth in it.
And only one person can do it at a time.
No, 2 people can.
Oh, can 2 people do it?
2 people can.
So it's just going to look like Toru Yano versus Kenny Omega.
Me and Zumi from Genius Pie, the purveyor of the wonderful Married Marks theme song.
Y'all just, like, roll around.
We just rolled around on the ring.
Freaking nerds.
But no, I mean, I have a ring. You can come see my ring. Just have to let me know your friend code.
So... hit us up and tweet at us. If you are playing Animal Crossing New Horizon, which is basically therapy in Nintendo, feel free to hit us up and let us know your friend code. Both of us do play on we have separate consoles, because I didn't want to share my fucking resources with you.
Yeah, you never share.
I know. I'm a greedy bitch. It's a thing. But yeah, hit us up. We would love your friend code or your dodo code. We'll come visit you. You're welcome to come visit us. Let's have some fun.
Yep. But until then, for the Married Marks, I'm Richard Townsend.
I'm Shannon Townsend.
And we will talk to you in 2 weeks.
Stay safe out there and stay well.